West Ham plus 230. Chelsea plus 125 on the road. The draw is 4-1. There's some offensive regression, positive regression coming for Chelsea at some point.
Oh yeah.
One goal scored. One goal scored in their last 3 matches and nearly 5 expected. But this West Ham team, we've talked about this defense a lot now. It's really, really good. So I'm not thinking that this is going to be the spot where you want to back that offensive regression to come. And similar to Liverpool, like this Chelsea team, it's a team in transition, obviously, under Potter, new faces coming in. Jorginho now playing for BJ's team. So I just don't know how much the kind of motivation is there for this Chelsea team, right? Like the season's over pretty much for the Premier League. They've got bigger fish to fry coming up on, I believe they play the Wednesday matches against Dortmund in the Champions League. Not a great spot. So I actually like West Ham at home plus 230 to get this one done. Anthony, you seem pretty excited about the offensive regression coming for Graham Potter's Blues.
I'm kind of interested in Chelsea again. I'm getting there. The underlying process numbers from the last 4 games have been pretty encouraging. Over 2 expected goals against Fulham. BJ talked about that match last week. Down a man for the last half hour, but a really good attacking performance. And I still don't know what to do with this Fulham defense. We need to have a talk about Fulham at some point. Crystal Palace, over 1.5 expected goals in that match. 1.6 at Anfield against Liverpool, and what I thought was a very good performance from them, including set piece, mixing and matching some stuff on set pieces, which is something Potter was always good at with Brighton, and now seems to have improved them on set pieces at Chelsea as well. And then 1.3 against Fulham in the last match. They didn't score. There's been a lot of bad variance, but they've also been mixing a lot of pieces in. The big thing here is João Felix is back. He's back from suspension. He missed 3 matches after getting the red card against Fulham. He produced 6 shots and almost a full expected goal in an hour against Fulham on the road. I think it's a huge upgrade to this attack. I like Kai Havertz. He's been in a finishing rut. You can see his confidence is a little bit off right now, and he's missed a lot of good opportunities. Felix is a different option. Mudryk, I didn't think he did nothing in the first 45 minutes against Fulham and got yanked at halftime. But there are other pieces in this Chelsea team that are gonna mix and match, and I think he'll figure out kind of what the situation is going forward. But I'm also encouraged by the fact that Reece James is back. That's a big upgrade for their attack as well. And I mean, it's not a coincidence that they finally looked like they had an outlet up the right wing that they could rely on to get up and down the pitch, and what he adds going forward. So I think, the time is coming for Chelsea here. And I still believe that this West Ham attack is underrated, and it's been that way for a long time. Nice cash for them at Newcastle last weekend. They did produce over 1 expected goal in that match. Danny Ings is going to be fit to play more minutes. Skamaka may be back for West Ham. And there's no team that's worse at turning final third possession and box injuries into shots than West Ham. Now, I think that's more of like a regression thing. I think it's probably just going to regress back toward the mean a little bit. Shout out to BJ for putting that stat together for us. But I think that this West Ham attack, it's just better than the market says. And this Chelsea attack has positive regression coming and is starting to figure things out. This total has crashed over 2.5. You can find it plus 120. I like that. I like both teams to score at minus 110. I think we're going to get a rare over for me in this Prem. I've been betting a lot of unders. Unders have come back in a big way since the World Cup. But yeah, I like the over, both BTTS and over 2.5 here.
Chelsea's going to be an interesting team in the futures market next year, I think. And they're 16-1 to win the Champions League right now. They have Dortmund coming up. I don't know if I don't think 16-1 is a great number, but
no,
I would say
who's going to win?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's much more about it being wide open, the competition being wide open, than believing in Chelsea. And we'll talk Champions League on Sunday night's episode, but it's just something to keep in mind there. Cause if let's just say Chelsea do figure it out, then all of a sudden you're talking about a very talented team.
They finally upgraded the midfield with Enzo, and I thought he had a very impressive showing against Fulham. That was the one signing that made a real difference. Felix Enzo, Reese. If Mudryk gives you anything, Ziyech is still there.
That
It starts to
fun,
get
by
it.
the way.
It starts to get interesting. I mean, COVID. I mean, could N'Golo Kante come back? I wouldn't count on that. But like Kovacic,
They got
Zachariah.
Kepa.
I mean,
Enzo is very interesting because it helps with Gallagher, because Gallagher can go forward more and press more and do more out of possession, which is what he did at Palace and why he was so effective when
I thought he
Tuchel
played
was
well
playing.
too against Fulham.
He did play well. Well, Tuchel's just playing him in a two alongside Kovacic or Conte. It just doesn't work like that. But yeah, I actually am going to be on West Ham here plus a half at -140. I get it. Like, I agree. Like, the Chelsea attack, like I said last week, like, it has to get better, like, considering the regression that we're going to see. But I don't know if against West Ham on the road in a, like you said, Michael, a terrible spot is necessarily going to be the spot for me to do it. Anthony mentioned the stat. I don't know if this is out there in the ethers or somebody's already created it, so I'm sorry. If I stole it, I couldn't find it on Google. But essentially, the stat I created is final third entries converted into box entries. So final third to box entry conversion rate. So it's essentially saying, okay, how many box entries are you getting compared to how many final third entries you're getting? West Ham, they're playing a low block. They're allowing teams in their final third pretty easily. I mean, they're 19th in pass per defensive action, 16th in final third entries allowed, but they're only allowing opponents into their box 26.7% of the time once they enter the final third. So that's the fourth best mark in the Premier League. Chelsea on the flip side, it's been this story the whole season long. Like, they get into the final third, they're very good at progressing the ball up the field, and they just can't do anything in the box. Like Anthony mentioned, Kai Havertz has been on a big time finishing route. They're 15th in box or final third to box conversion rate. So I am going to be playing West Ham plus a half at -140. I actually have West Ham projected as a slight favorite here, just because Chelsea's overall underlying metrics have just been really, really bad this season. I mean, they're still at a minus expected goal differential under Potter. And if you go look through Chelsea's results against good low block teams, it hasn't really gone that well for them. Like, if you, right before the World Cup break, they were under one expected goal against both Villa, against Brentford. They couldn't even create over one expected goal at Nottingham Forest, even though they get one of their goals was off a fluke goal. They obviously created 1.8, and they've created a lot of chances here against Fulham in back-to-back matches, and also they had a good performance against Bournemouth. But I really question if West Ham is just going to let Chelsea have the ball and tell them to break them down. Can they do it? Do they have a front man that can get on the end of those chances and actually put the ball in the back of the net? I'm not so sure about that. So I do like West Ham here plus half a goal at -140.